Welcome back to Trinidad and Tobago. We're talking crime and we're talking about efforts against crime. Chairman of Project600 TT Committee, Mr. Isa Mohammed, he joins us live on set to talk about a crime march. It's coming up on Sunday, 10th of December, around the Queen's Park, Savannah. Now, he tells us the objective of this march is to highlight the current murder rate in Trinidad and Tobago. Well, a very good morning to you, Mr. Mohammed. Thank you so much for taking the time to come here in person and chat with us.
Good morning to you and all your viewers.
Tell us about Project 600 TT.
Project 600 is an initiative meant to bring attention to the crime situation in Trinidad, of course. Now, we know that crime has always been a problem, or it's been a problem for a long time in Trinidad, but recently it feels like things have gotten to a level that we haven't seen before. And I think there's a feeling it's sort of a feeling in the pit of your stomach that this time around things look like they aren't getting better. So we feel that there needs to be some sort of expression about how people feel about this. We started off by wanting to show solidarity with the victims of crime. So we're calling on 600 volunteers to carry 600 flags around the Queen's Park Savannah, each flag representing a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago who would have lost their life due to homicide over the past year.
600. So that's how the name
That's
came about.
That's the 600 in the Project 600 name. Last year it was approximately 600, probably a little bit over, and this year it's expected to be just about 600 again. And we felt that that is a shocking number.
I was actually just skimming through the Express. I know they usually have a tool to just see what the current tool is and how. Okay, so as of yesterday, it was 529 compared to 553 in 2022. And, if I recall a statement from Commissioner of Police a few months ago, when they do this comparison, they would say this year is better.
I mean, is it really better? One can argue about the numbers. I mean, a little bit up, a little bit down. At the end of the year, it's going to be approximately the same. And it's been trending upwards, a little bit up, a little bit down, a little bit up, a little bit down. It's been trending upwards for 2 decades. I mean, there was a time we were outraged at a number of 60 or 70. And if you ask me, we need to be having more of these expressions of public interest on the matter, because it's spiraling worse and worse and worse and worse, and there's no long-term downward trend that we could see.
But we seem to be desensitized, as you hinted.
Yeah. It's it's not even so much, I think, the desensitization. I think everybody feels, right? We definitely, I mean, I could speak for myself, my friends, my family. It hurts when you have a situation. I'm going to call a couple names like Faith Peterkin or an Andrea Lallan. These things cut inside of you when you think that somebody set out of their house one morning with murder in their heart for a 13-year-old girl. Set out to murder a 13-year-old girl. No, this is not someone who got killed by accident or in the crossfire or as collateral damage or, they say, gang-related. Somebody went out to target a 13-year-old girl. And when we look at the Peterkin family and you see an entire family in their sleep, this is different. We've always had crime in Trinidad. This is not business as usual. Things have gone, the ante has been upped, and there needs to be some sort of national response to this, because we as citizens can't stand by and see what's happening to our country. And when you think, if we're at this point now, where families are being taken out in their sleep and girls are being targeted, if we're here now, what's it going to be like in 10 years? What's it going to be like in 20 years? I'm not concerned about this year versus last year. I'm concerned, where are we going to be in 15 years? What am I leaving for my kids?
It's interesting, Mr. Mohammed, that you'll bring up the Peterkin family. That one really, really touches me. I know that their mom, Anissa, I know that she is still grieving quite a lot of sleepless nights. And, you know, when I did a little bit of digging into that case, it came to my attention that there was no motive. They weren't necessarily targeted. The gunman didn't seek to target that house and kill those people. It was just sort of a spree. It was sort of arbitrary. What does that speak to in terms of the mind of those murderers?
It's concerning, and it's when we look at the capability that now has found itself into the hands of the criminal element in this country, it's scary. And you know, it speaks to something bigger going on in the society, because everybody in our society has to have a role to play in terms of turning the ship around. But change only starts when you recognize the need for change. And with the mentality of the criminal element in the country right now, we all need to band together to confront this thing head on. Otherwise, we're setting ourselves up for more and more and worse down the line.
So tell us about your committee. Who does Project 600 involve? Is it persons who have been affected by murders, persons who have been affected by crime?
So Project 600 was started by myself and my wife. We really sat down, we sit down and have lunch every day. And the conversation came about how everybody's feeling about the crime situation. And the victims, as you said, the Peterkin family, Lalan, so many others. And we said, we all just feel this pain, and we spoke about it in joking. It was like, we need a day to go into Port of Spain together and cry. Like, just go to the savannah and all just cry together, because it's just how we're feeling, right? And we call it, you know, we need to have a Friday cry day. Let's just get the whole country together, go there and just grieve, because we're hurting, right? And it sort of started in that conversation. And we said, you know what, let's actually do it, because nobody else is doing it. Let's actually put this thing together and do it. And that was only 6 weeks ago. It was only 6 weeks ago. So we got together some friends, some co-workers, some people that we know who feel strongly about taking action about these things, and said, let's actually do it. Let's put something together in solidarity with the victims and try to reach out to the victims and sort of try to give them a voice. And it was the idea behind the 600 flags. If we could get families of victims to carry those flags, we felt it would be powerful. But at the same time, we don't want to put anybody in a position that they're uncomfortable. A lot of people are really grieving and hurting about it, so we understand that. So not everybody is willing to put themselves forward like that. But that was the idea, it was the intention, to show solidarity with the victims.
What do you expect will happen? Do you expect, you know, policymakers, authorities to be impacted by a walk?
Yeah, you know, I do. I think we need all stakeholders to recognize that everything we've been doing as a society so far, it hasn't been sufficient. It's unsatisfactory. And we need change to happen in almost all the organizations in our country that have a stake in this. And I'm speaking about the religious organizations, the sporting organizations, the police service, the judiciary, and of course those who are leading us on the national level. We need changes across the board. And people don't change easily. You need motivation to change. You need a mandate to change. And what we're hoping for, if we call citizens to action on Sunday, and if we get a groundswell of people showing up, it would send a message to all of these organizations that tomorrow cannot be business as usual. We want to empower the voices of reason. We want to empower those who are change agents within all of these services to look at us on Sunday and say, you know what, guys, we need to get this done, because look, there are people out there marching on the streets. So we need to take action within our organization and do something different. And everything, the business community, all stakeholders, need to align themselves with confronting this, because this is the single biggest challenge in our country right now.
Who should participate? Who would you like to see there?
I would like to see every citizen of Trinidad and Tobago participate, because I just called you a list of stakeholders. The biggest stakeholder in this is the citizens, the regular people. And I think over the past few decades, we've sort of lost our voice. There's a lot of division in our society, not real division, just sort of a surface division on certain issues, right? And I think we need to get past that, and I think we need to find back our voice, because all these other organizations and stakeholders, if we don't give them a mandate to effect that change, it's not going to happen. But that mandate can only come from the people, and I mean everybody, together, nationally, united on something that means everything to us.
What's next for Project 600?
A lot of people have been asking me that question recently. So I just told you the backstory. This thing came out over a lunch conversation 6 weeks ago, right? We don't have concrete plans for next steps. This is something that we just came up with. But now we've gotten support from so many people. It's been really amazing how many people have come together and said, you know what, we'll help in this way, we'll help in that way, we'll help promote, we'll help with advertising, we'll provide stuff to use on the event. And so it's building and putting together this group of people who feel strongly about the cause. I think we'll have to sit down and think, what comes next, but towards the idea of citizens coming together, united to raise their voice on important matters. I think we're going to stick with that, because I think we need to rekindle this culture of civic action in our country.
As you mentioned before, getting back our voice, making our voices heard.
And recognizing that it matters, because too often you hear the cynical approach, oh, what's going to change, and nothing is going to. Things are going to change. This will matter. People will remember this for years. Everybody speaks to me about the Keith Newell 136 committee and Stephen Cadies. It's the one that comes up all the time when I say, let's go to the savannah and walk. And I'm saying, that was 18 years ago, and everybody still brings it up today. Mm-hmm. And that was 18 years ago. Don't tell me that didn't have an impact, man. Everybody remembers that. And if you ask me, it should have been 18 between now and then, instead of 18 years ago. And one now. This needs to be part of our national persona.
Will you share with the public the details for the march and how they can participate?
Certainly. So the march is going to be on Sunday, December 10th, 3 p.m. We're meeting at the Queen's Park Savannah on the southern side, opposite Victoria Avenue, right opposite TGI Fridays. So we're all gathering there at 3 p.m. We're going to have a short public address. We're hoping to have some of the victims of crime actually speak. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to encircle the savannah with the 600 flags. So we'll be setting out from the southern side, and we're going to be making a procession all the way around the savannah with the intention of completely encircling it with these 600 flags. To get more information, of course, our website is Project600tt.com, and you can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're on all the socials. We're on YouTube. Project600tt.com. There's a button there to click to volunteer to carry a flag, and I would love as many people as possible to click that button, because we need those people carrying those flags.
How many are we up to just yet?
So we have unofficial confirmation from several hundred, right? But there's a week before the event, and you know how we are. This is Trinidad and Tobago. I need 2,000 people volunteering to carry flags, man. I need backups,
yeah,
right?
As many as you get, you'll take. It's not limited to 600.
Absolutely not. We want everybody to volunteer, and we're going to need backups. And if I could have 3 people to a flag, I would love to have 3 people to a flag. And it's not only about the flags. We want everybody to come down and join us for the march.
All right, Mr. Mohammed, let me thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm going to wish you all the best on that march on Sunday. And of course, thank you for stepping up. Thank you to you and your wife for stepping up to the plate for, reminding citizens that we too have a voice.
Yeah, well, thank you so very much, and I appreciate the opportunity to come here with you and share the message with your viewers.
All the best to you. Well, to our viewers, it's now time for a quick break. We've got news up next, well, in a short bit.